my beautiful women, to understand that you are a princess. I don't care what anybody say. You might be telling yourself, you might be looking down on yourself, you might be having low self-esteem, you might be suffering from low self-esteem, right? You might not be having so much confidence in yourself, but remember, confidence starts from you. Self-esteem starts from the way you see yourself. When you see yourself in the same way, it's energy. People start to see you the way you see yourself. And remember, most of us or most people don't understand their self-worth or value. Why? Because they came from a parent, right, that never taught them how valuable they are, never told them how beautiful they are, never celebrated them, never even make them see that they deserve better, never make them understand that they are valuable. So that's the reason why many people, they lower their standard and welcome pain into their life instead of them celebrating and just understanding that I deserve this in my life. It's not bad if I want something better. It's not bad if I said I'm not going to settle down yet until I find a man who is a king and understand that I'm the princess and is able to treat me like a princess. That is the reason why society have manipulated so many women these days, that they don't understand their self-value. They don't understand their self-worth. So they go around and treat themselves like low value. And one thing I have to make you understand, you can increase your value today. You can increase your value tomorrow, and you can do it right now. And why waiting to see yourself that you want the prize? And now, how do you know? Why? Okay, how do I even put it now? How do you choose a person? Sometimes a lot of people are dying to hear this. Sometimes you have to be very, very tough. And most times we as women, we use too much emotion because we allow a broken man to get straight in our head, and because of that we start looking. Sometimes I'm assessing a lot of people, and I'm just looking at the way they say I'm single, I need a man in my life. But sometimes it's sad because we live in a generation whereby a lot of people are not really focusing to ask themselves, why do I need this person in my life? And one thing that we need to ask ourselves, if you have discovered self-love, if you have discovered self satisfaction and peace, listen, you'll be very, very concerned about who is coming into your world. Why did I say that? When you are very needy and you are very desperate, you really don't focus on the type of animal you purchase. But when you are concerned about how the animal is going to benefit you, and if you are concerned how the pet is going to impact your life in a positive form, you will notice there's a different way that you view buying an animal. I'm just giving you an example. So say for example you want to buy a cat, and if you are desperate, and if you don't understand why people have cats, different reason or what cat can also impact in your life, you don't care. You just go and take anyone from the cat shop or wherever they buy cats, right? But ask yourself, but if you understand the emotional feeling, how that cat is going to come into your house and change the atmosphere of your house and change the way you feel about your life, and just even keeping you company and staying with you, and you are able to just feel the other person, the cat is there, you will be very concerned the type of cat that you're trying to buy and bring it to your home. Now the same thing applies when it comes to you dating. When you are trying to date a man, try to love yourself first. What do I mean by loving yourself? When you love yourself, you will not jump into Mike immediately. You want to understand Mike. You want to know how suitable Mike is. that is going to be in your life. You're going to see the value that is in Mike. You want to understand his integrity. You want to understand that because you just know that you are the princess, that you cannot be like the other people who are desperate. So you want to understand, what value does Mike have that is coming to impact my life? Because now, just imagine, ask yourself, maybe when it's morning, maybe you like to go for a run, you like to go and visit some friends, you like to go to the bar, you like to go to maybe Costa, it can be whatever, right? You have a support group, you just have same things that you do with your life. And now you are trying to go in a relationship with Mike just because you're desperate, just because you're looking for the number, because society have made us think that when you are alone, you're not enough. But when you have a person come into your life, it doesn't matter what he is, it doesn't matter if he have a career, it doesn't matter if he have a bad attitude problem, it doesn't matter if he have a past experience that is toxic, it doesn't matter if you are grabbing the person from his wife, it doesn't matter if maybe he have a girlfriend, or it doesn't matter if he's an abuser, it doesn't matter. But we're just looking for a man. No. That is the reason why many of us attract the broken man. That is the reason why many of us attract the men that doesn't see value in women. That's why many of us attract the men that exploit us and change who we are. That's how you attract the type of men that make you to become anxious, depressed, stressed all the time. But if you fall in love with yourself, you'll be able to know what is going to be right for you. You'll be able to take your time. You'll be able to look into their CV. You'll be able to look. It's just like, okay. It's just like you go for a job interview. The person interviewing you, why do you think the employer wants to employ you? Because the employer wants to understand if you've got something in common with their company. The employer wants to understand what value you're going to bring. The employer is trying to understand where you're coming from, what's your past experience, because they're trying to see if they can work with you. But what happens when you don't know your value? What happens when you don't know your self-worth? What happens when you're struggling with self-esteem? You see him as the prize. Then you become what? As low value. Now you are not expecting him to see you like, oh, I hope he likes me. No. If you have worked on yourself, if you have done your personal self-development, if you've got right attitude, if you love your life, and if you are very, very you have worked on yourself, and you know that you've got value to offer, and you know your personality, you know how to carry yourself when you're with people, you're very, very intelligent. So you also know you've got so many value, in fact, that you can offer to the person. You know how you can be able to support him when he's breaking. You know how you can be able to emotionally encourage him. You know how you can also bring peace into his world. So at the end of the day, why don't you see it the same way that you need to also ensure that you're not listening to what the society is telling you, you're not listening to how desperate society are becoming, but you are trying to make sure that you are choosing something that is good, or someone that is going to be right for your mental health. But what is going to happen? You're going to pay so much attention to the way it come across. You are not going to justify, you're not going to give your brain the chance to create an excuses in order for you to overlook his red flag. You're going to look how consistent he is in your life. You're going to check his communication skill. You are going to see how he communicates. You are going to see the way he come across as a supporting person. You're going to check how, if he like socializing the same as you, is he a career driven person? Does he have goal? Is he working on the goal? Because a lot of us have chosen men who have got potential. But remember, potential doesn't pay bills. Potential don't pay rent. A man can have a potential. If it's not fruitful, what's he going to be doing? So at the end of the day, a lot of us lower our value. We don't know who we are, and we just settle. We start becoming the mother. We start becoming the father. We start babysitting. We start running around and thinking that we have to feed the man, you have to do everything for the man. But that is where you get it wrong. Because now that man will see you, because he will understand that you don't have no self-respect, you don't have no self-value. That's the reason why most men would try to look after and find somebody outside the home who they can be able to spend their money on, who they can be able to act like the man. Because a lot of we women, we are taking the position of a man. We are trying to become the man by providing everything, thinking that when I pay the rent, when I pay for car insurance, when I do everything, by supporting his laziness, by supporting him going out anytime he like and coming back anytime he like, that will make him love us. Obviously, he's loving you based on you supporting his bad habits. But it's not love, because you've given him, you've made him see that you have no value. So he is going to be searching, be longing for the woman who've got value, a woman that knows her worth. That is what he's going to, is somebody that's going to hold him accountable. But because many of us are thinking, oh, because my friend just got engaged, let me go engage. You don't want that. That's the reason why I encourage my beautiful ladies, work on yourself, build your empire, build your life, be planning on how you can improve on your own personal development. That way, when a man that is a high value sees you, he's not threatened. That's one thing people don't understand. People think when a high value man, they are threatened by seeing a woman who have established a life or who has built her own life. No, a confidence man, there are insecure men. Insecure man is the one that tear other women down. A confidence man, it doesn't matter what you're bringing to the table. It doesn't matter how far you have worked, build your life. He is ready to come and jump in and build you and encourage you to strive. He doesn't want you to be babysitting him. He knows what to do. He don't have to be a millionaire, but he knows his job. He knows he's a man. He knows that he needs to take care of business, and he will have a lot of similarity with you. That is how most people get very lucky. Because you have already demonstrated that you know your worth. Because you're going to choose a man according to, you have to write it on the book and say, this is the type of a man that I want. You have the right. If you don't have to go with the same value as your friends, because why? Because you know your value and you know your worth. So you write it down. This is the type of a man that I want. This is the type of a man that I want. You have to have this personality. You have to have this personality. You have to be in, you have to treat me this way, and you will attract that. But when you don't see yourself like someone who is valued, you will attract people that are low value. You will keep on attracting the men that come into your life today and they ghost you tomorrow. You attract the men that are inconsistent. You attract the men that are broken men who, what do they think? Is just by going after one woman to another. Ask yourself, a man that knows himself, a man that understand that is the king, that needs to build his empire, that he needs to build himself all the time, and always keep on thinking about how he's going to develop in his life. Do you think that man will have time really to be jumping and making women as a job? Ask yourself that question. Because like if you're dating like a man that is a player who is still not grown yet, the time that they use in checking different women, in checking what woman do I date today, what woman do I date tonight, they will invest that time in building their life. They will invest that time in building their empire. Because you know why? Because they know that they are the man. They know that they need to look after their princess. Because they know that they cannot just be relaxing and becoming a child that somebody else have to care for. So I want you today to raise your standard and know that, listen, how you see yourself, what you believe inside you is what you're going to attract. And don't think that because the society is changing, people seem to be reducing their value, that you have to reduce who you are. then you have to start thinking that, oh no, let me not have too many standards. If not, I will just be alone. It's okay to be alone than choosing somebody that is going to come and increase your mental health. It's okay to be alone than to choose a partner that is going to come into your life and increase your depression. So now, how do you know that you've got a lot in common? Maybe if you're the type that love communicating, he enjoy to listen. He enjoy to communicate. He just wants to work on the relationship and see how you guys are going to be growing. If you like jogging, you love it. Maybe he might not like doing it before, but he's open. He's got open-minded. He's willing to explore it. He's willing to try it. Maybe you've got a support group. He's not going to tell you not to follow the support group. Maybe you have same things that you love doing. He encourages you, and at the same time, he's also having his own life. But you can see that your a lot of things is so much in common. You've got sense of human. He just have a way of cheering you up. It's just probably, maybe for example, maybe just ask yourself, what do you need from a man? Maybe you need a man that when you come back from work is able to just sit down and ask you, babe, how was the day? Babe, how was the day? And it's coming from within him because he's so concerned. And you're able to ask him if you're at work and you're stuck in a project at work, and you can be able to call him and say, honey, can you pick up the kids, for example, if you've got children? Or, honey, can you pick me up from work? And if he's also available, he will not put anything, above you. He will come and get you from work. He will treat you. He will treat you the way that you really, really want a person to treat you. But how do you discover this? Is when you don't start giving the wife benefit. Is when, because ask yourself, if I can get a cow, why buying the milk? Right? If I can get a cow for free, then why do you think I'm going to do anything? So at the end of the day, if a man understand that you know who you are and you know what you want and you're not afraid to request it, he will treat you like one. So at the end of the day, when you go to a man's house, you start scrubbing the floor, you start taking his mother's role, you start acting like you are the mother, you start getting so obsessed, you start looking through his phone and screaming, "Who are you talking to? What's going on?" What do you think is going to happen? He's going to get scared. Or maybe you're dating him and you're already doing everything that you should expect in a marriage. Do you think there's anything more for him to discover? Of course not. Because you've already given out the wife privilege. So at the end of the day, he don't care. But remember, that's the reason why it's so good for you to have your own mind. Don't be a people pleaser. Because a real man, they respect you when you stick by your word. When you say no and your no is no, they respect that. But remember, a player will make you feel like, oh, you see, other girls will probably do this for me. If you love me, you would have done that. But because you haven't really discovered who you are, because you haven't really worked on your self-esteem and your self-confidence to know that, listen, I am whole. I am a whole human being. So if you don't love me for respecting myself, for having my own view, for having my own belief, then I just believe that you don't have to be in my life either. And don't be afraid. Remember, I always tell people, when a person comes into your life and they don't have the same value as you and they go, you're going to feel disappointed. But you're going to grieve. Be prepared to grieve them. The same way you grieve somebody that is dead. But you're going to be fine, because you have to understand that sometimes God removes certain type of people in our life because God has seen that they have negative potential in our life. When God has seen that you've got so much to offer to the right man, and you're giving so much to a broken man, sometimes God works on your behalf by destroying the relationship, by removing you from that situation. because he knows that you cannot do it by yourself. He knows that the man has gone inside your brain that you cannot make that decision on your own. So don't be surprised when some certain things happen and that person is out of your life. Not every broken relationship is bad. Sometimes it's a blessing as well. And that's the reason why you have to check, who is this person?